Well, it's now Wednesday morning, June the 2nd, a little past 8 a.m., and we've got a ugly, stormy morning. We're hoping for a break in the weather here in an hour or two before the afternoon round of storms roll through. So hopefully we'll get a few hours of nice weather in between storms, but it's pretty ugly right now as we look out our 12th floor hotel room window at New Orleans and the Mississippi River.
Aquarium of the Americas. The aquarium showcases the stunning variety of life that exists in the rich water environments of North, Central, and South America.
The Amazon rainforest.
It looks silver. Just the water, air come out the back.
recent introducee into this exhibit less than a week and a half ago, and she's been in the water twice with divers now. She sometimes gets curious, sometimes she hasn't. We're hoping today she won't get too curious. She doesn't discourage too easily. The two safety divers that you're looking at, the one closest in is named James. The other one is Julia, and they've been doing this for quite some time now. Notice how they use those safety sticks. Kind of as a preemptive barrier. Nothing's going to bother them. In 14 years of diving this exhibit, we have never had an untoward episode or event. There's a tender up there, a person who's going to help John, and also they're going to keep that big sea turtle away from him. Well, hello, Mr. Al. Can you hear me? Good morning, John. We can hear you. Can you hear us? Great, Al. Can hear you fine. What a great group of people here. It's good to see you all come out. I'd like to welcome you all to the Aquarium of the Americas Inshore Gulf of Mexico exhibit. I'm speaking to you behind about 12 inches of acrylic plexiglass, and I'm in 500,000 gallons of artificial seawater. And I'm able to do this because of my two very good friends, Julia here on my left and Krista on my right. Their job is pretty much to keep the sharks off my backside. We've got 4 different species of very typical, over there. Your shark is coming to say hi. That's one of the species of sharks we've got right there. They're called nurse sharks. They spend most of their time laying around on the bottom, rooting out pieces of food in the form of crustaceans, crabs, and fish in the evening when they're all asleep. The other species of sharks we got are sand tigers, now a totally protected species. Big brown guys with all the teeth. We got 2 small black-tip sharks, one of the most common inshore Gulf sharks. And we've got our very first female brown or sandbar shark, which is a very fast swimming jug with a very high dorsal fin. All of these sharks are once extremely common in the Gulf of Mexico. Biggest female weighs about 400 pounds and is a little over 9.5 feet long. These animals are very long-lived, they grow very slowly, and most of these animals have been in here for the last 10 years or more. In fact, Nick, our big nurse shark, was captured by us in 1988 before the aquarium even opened. She's lived a long and happy life in here. Well, I remember Jaws came out, and once that happened, the world's fascination with sharks pretty much mandated that every aquarium and oceanarium in the world had to have a lot of them. So that kind of started the ball rolling, and it seemed like the perfect exhibit for the Aquarium of the Americas here in New Orleans. Okay, John, thank you. I think we're about out of time right now. Things are getting a little restless in there. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. How about a round of applause for John? Thank you very much. Please come back and see us again. Bring all your family and your friends. You like having you here at the Aquarium of the Americas. Okay. Once again, my name is Al, and I'll...
We now begin our trip down the Mississippi River. Coming into view on our left will be Jackson Square, one of the finest architectural settings in the United States. Laid out in the 1720s as the Place d'Armes, or Place of Guns, it was later renamed for General Andrew Jackson, hero of the Battle of New Orleans and 7th President of the United States. The focal point of the square is St. Louis Cathedral. Established in 1722 as the Church of St. Louis, it was later dedicated a cathedral in 1793. The oldest established cathedral in the United States, though this is the third structure to occupy this. The levees lining the banks of the river were begun in the mid-1700s by plantation owners and today are built and maintained by the United States Army Corps of Engineers. These levees rise 25 feet above sea level and protect the land from the rising Mississippi. They also extend 1,200 miles upriver to St. Louis, Missouri. The Mississippi River begins as a tiny stream in the northern state of Minnesota, so shallow you can walk across it on top of stepping stones. Unloaded is equipped with an icebreaker valve. They're unloading bulk cargo from the ship and dropping it into that barge along her port side. The flag of Malta flies at the stern of that vessel. This is a flag of convenience. The flags of Singapore, Cyprus, Panama, Liberia, and Malta are all referred to as flags of convenience, which we see in our harbor regularly. This means that companies from any country can register under this flag and do so to escape strict regulation and heavy taxation, and it's all perfectly legal. The small inlet to the left is the Chalmette Slip. Several wharves are located on the slip at which vessels can tie up to take on or unload cargo. The tall white monument rising above the levee to the left marks the site of the Battle of New Orleans here at Chalmette National Historic Park. Also just behind the levee is the Beauregard House, named for its last private owner, Rene Beauregard, son of the Confederate General P.G.T. Beauregard. The Creole Queen is going to be passing us on the left heading back upriver. She's not a steamer like the Natchez, although she is a diesel-electric paddle wheeler and makes a similar harbor trip. The empty field directly to our left is where the historic Battle of New Orleans actually took place. Fought here on January 8, 1815. It was the final battle of the War of 1812 and the very last time British and American troops ever met in conflict. While it was a decisive battle, it was unfortunately fought 2 weeks too late because the Treaty of Ghent had been signed 2 weeks earlier and extending back from the levee to the left. These mark the final resting place of soldiers who fought in our battles from the War of 1812 through the Vietnam conflict. It's the Chalmette National Cemetery. We are now heading around a very sharp bend of the river that had algae overflow. You'll notice two levees.
Weather has improved this afternoon. Just got off our riverboat cruise and are now walking through the French Quarter. At Jackson Square now.
I used to sell jewelry. I supposed to kill it. But you used to give me, that's why you try to kill me back. You know that if two presidents sit down on the fail, and nothing else, I got nothing in the bag. Take that toothbrush, and instead of putting the room in there, take that toothbrush, and take the toothpaste, and then you got toothpaste. That's gonna this time, you know, gonna be clear. You just gonna take it, and it's gonna get all the little crevices and everything.
Bourbon Street.
Un vestido raro que le queda muy bien, se viste de negro con ropa pegadita, como no sé su nombre me llamo Vampirita, me enamoré de una vampirita, de una vampirita, de una vampirita, me enamoré de una vampirita, de una vampirita, de una vampirita, que dientes tan grandes tiene la vampirita, que labios tan gruesos tiene mi vampiro. Yo quiero que tú vuelvas, vuelvas, que yo quiero, no voy a tomar un segundo. Quiero que tú vuelvas, vuelvas, que yo quiero, como una cama de mundo. Quiero que tú vuelvas, vuelvas, que yo quiero, y la luz por aquí. Que yo quiero que tú vuelvas, vuelvas, que yo quiero, y la luz por allá. ¿Qué pasó?
Now picked up a car. First time in about 22 hours. Heading up Canal Boulevard here. Just left the hotel. Here in downtown New Orleans. French Quarter to our right. River behind us. Now I think I'm on the West Bank Expressway. About to pass over the Mississippi River. I just saw the movie Day After Tomorrow, and now taking an evening stroll around New Orleans. This is my hotel. My room's on the 12th floor there. Paris Casino right here. Walking down Canal Street. Lost a few coins in there last night. Didn't fare as well as I did back in Metropolis. front of the aquarium, taking a walk along the river. Beautiful evening for a walk. As ugly as the day started, it ended up quite nice. There's the bridge we took over to the West Bank to see the movie night. Walking through the French Quarter.
good point. Next Facebook, high-five fun, food serving with social fun. We become don't feel bad, dancing in the age of luxury. The pants, but it looks like rock. That's rock, the dance, that's rock. There's too many into it. Come on, that's so in the food.
That's the bar.
I think so,
Oh.